Professor Tseli Phooko, who now joins us via Skype. Prof, good afternoon and welcome to the show. First of all, what would have been important for the state to look into, considering the High Court judgment, in now coming to a final decision to withdraw the case?
Good afternoon, Adrian. Thank you very much, and good afternoon to the viewers. Well, I think the heart of the matter here, it goes on the sufficiency of the evidence that the state has against Norma. So one would have expected that at least when the initial outcome came, did they have sufficient evidence before them to continue with the case or not? It looks like from where they were seated, they assumed that they had enough evidence. Hence, they decided to proceed with the case.
Mm-hmm. And then eventually then leading to the decision of not proceeding with the case.
Well, that has an implication now. Because remember, before you decide to charge, you are informed by the nature of the evidence and the witnesses that are available before you. In other words, do you really have the so-called prima facie case to secure a conviction so as not to be seen to be abusing the process of the criminal justice system? I guess, I don't know what happened, but the only conclusion that one can draw at this stage is that they did not have a good case against the accused. Hence, we see the withdrawal of the charges, which is unfortunate, and it's up to the accused now whether she wants to pursue a form of a remedy because of perhaps the damage in her name, the trauma that she's gone through, and so on.
Yeah. Considering how far this case has gone, and also the insistence from the NPA at the time, even after the judgment from the North Gauteng High Court, does this mean that it can or does meet the threshold of a malicious prosecution, or does a malicious prosecution only come into effect after judgment has been handed down?
Well, at this stage, the withdrawal does not necessarily amount to acquittal. So, but if one look at it properly, the fact that you have dragged me before the courts and so on, it gives me an avenue to go forward and say, but before you had the case, you could have observed all the channels that you have and made an informed decision whether or not to prosecute. In this case, they decided that they want to prosecute. Therefore, I am of the view that she has all the avenues open to her to institute a civil remedy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then you speak about this does not necessarily mean that it is an acquittal, and the NPA had said before that a crime has been committed. Now, where we stand at the moment with the decision to withdraw these charges, does it mean that the charges can never be reinstated, or can the NPA come back and say that now we are deciding to reinstate the charges?
Well, at this stage, it depends. Should in future, this is, as I've said, it's not acquittal and it's not a stay of proceedings. Therefore, should the NPA, for one reason or the other, gather more evidence which will warrant the reinstatement of the charges, they also have an opportunity to do so, and it is something that is possible. It could happen.
Mm-hmm. And if that does happen, does that then make the proceedings that you speak of a possible case of malicious prosecution, does that then become a moot point?
Definitely, that will become a moot point, because a malicious prosecution, you must definitely show that there was no case brought against me, and in fact the acquittal would give you a proper stench, because even the case found out that no, this person really, you did not have a case here.
Okay, and then there's the final one as well, where we had now already heard from the defense's side outside the court that they will be pushing a case against the unlawful, in relation to the unlawful arrest, which of course is separate to the prosecution itself. What is it that they'll have to prove in that particular case?
Well, that one of unlawful arrest, it basically means that the prosecution, with the little evidence that they have, it resulted in the detention of the accused, wherein it was not supposed to be the case. And as a result of that, the prosecution has suffered a form of, some of her rights have been infringed.
Okay, then thank you so much for that. That is Professor Tseli Phooko there, who is a legal analyst, following that decision that has been taken by the NPA to withdraw the charges against Norma Mngoma. We've tried to get a hold of the NPA. They say that at the moment they're still drafting a statement to give us reasons behind the decision to withdraw the charges, because remember that after that judgment that was handed down at the North Gauteng High Court, the NPA had said that they will still pursue the criminal prosecution against Norma Mngoma, despite that High Court judgment that said that the arrest was unlawful, and that also the evidence that was retrieved unlawfully, and there was also an abuse of power from the Hawks as well as her estranged husband's side. We're going to a quick ad break. When we come back, we'll say our goodbyes.